Let's talk the Las Vegas Raiders and the New York Giants. The Raiders are 2.5 to 3 point road favorites over the New York Giants. Giants dealing with all kinds of injuries at their wide receiver core and elsewhere throughout the team. I mean, they're the walking dead essentially at this point. That being said, it still took a last second field goal by the Chiefs to even beat this Giants team. They lost Sterling Shepard in the second quarter of that game. They lost Kadarius Toney in the fourth quarter of that game. They played that game without Kenny Golladay and Saquon Barkley, just to let you know what was going on there. And they still were able to get pretty close to the Chiefs in that one. On the Raiders side of things, we know about the John Gruden stuff, and then tragedy hit that team this week again as one of their players Henry Ruggs driving extremely recklessly, 156 miles an hour, a couple of seconds before impact, ran into the back of a young lady at 127 miles an hour. The car catches on fire and she ends up dying in that crash. Ruggs has been released on that team. But Brad, I talked to Bryant McFadden last night on a show that I host for VEASAN and asked him how this is different from the Gruden situation. He said, yeah, the Gruden situation, half that locker room might have hated Gruden as it was anyway. So it's not really that big a deal. You get rid of a coach it's kind of a rally situation, pump up situation. This is now one of your brothers, one of your teammates, and he did something horrible, and now he's out of a job. And he said there's just all kinds of stuff that these guys are having to deal with here on top of getting on a plane, flying across the country, playing in the early time slot on the East Coast and stuff. And he was saying, it is as weird as it is. He's like, it would be a Giants or pass for me because of everything that this Raiders team is going through. Do you buy into that?
Yeah, I think so. And let's remember the first game after Gruden went, or when it was all sort of circling in the first place, they lost 20-9 at home against the Bears. So they're by far their worst performance of the season. So yeah, as you say, I can't see how their head is going to be in this football game, right? Like Derek Carr was talking this week, about just he was in tears with his wife, and he kept going like, we've got a job to do. But I cannot see how they're preparing for this game in a normal manner, right? As you said, one of their brother's friends is in prison, probably lost his NFL career. So I can't see how they're focused at all. That's just got to be the biggest factor in the game. Like you could talk about the Raiders' defensive line; they should have success against this Giants' offensive line, and there's a lack of weapons for the Giants. Like I'd bet the Raiders -3 on Monday morning before this happened, and I've got out of some of that bet, but. I don't think you can look past what the emotional, mental state of that team is, and it's got to be awful, right?
Yeah, I think that it is an actual thing here. Whenever we're trying to do this, and listen, Stephen, we just want to give the disclaimer. This is a betting podcast. This is a betting video that we're doing. We have to look at this through a betting lens. We understand that someone lost their life and all this, and this is absolutely tragic. And, that said, we always say that about the COVID stuff as well. Like, listen, and we'll talk, obviously a big one coming down the pike a little bit later here, but we always have to look at this through a betting lens. We understand that there's far more to all of this stuff than just the betting side of things, but you're watching, you're listening, because you want to hear about our betting takes on all this stuff. So that's why, if you just don't think that we're cold-hearted bastards or anything when it comes to any of this stuff. So on the injury front, the Giants put Saquon Barkley on the COVID list. We've seen how this has gone sometimes, Stephen, right? Like one guy gets put on the COVID list and sometimes other guys start trickling on the COVID list. So there's another thing that you have got to keep in your back of your mind from the Giants side of things is, could another player end up popping up on the COVID list? Who has Saquon Barkley been around? What's going on there? Kenny Golladay didn't practice on Wednesday. Kadarius Toney was limited on Wednesday. We know that Sterling Shepard's going to miss several weeks for this team. So as much as maybe the Raiders seem like the right side, there is a ton of injuries. I mean, the Giants feel like the right side. The Giants are dealing with a ton of injuries here.
And Thursday morning, the Giants beat writers and media were alerted that all of their media availabilities would remain virtual for the rest of the week. So it seems like they're going into containment protocols here for COVID. So don't be surprised if a couple other players pop up as being out for this game. So full disclosure, I took the Giants as a teaser leg early in the week at +9. I thought it fit nicely with the West to East. And, we have a low total here at 46.5. This is even before all the Henry Ruggs stuff. So, but now as we sit here and now you have that unknown with the Giants as well, there's just a lot of question marks and things that are just really difficult to handicap in this game. So the only thing I would consider is a Giants teaser leg, but now I'd be hesitant with that considering the COVID situation as well.
Yeah, I think this one, if you're betting this one, guys, no matter when you're watching this video, this is a wait as long as you feel comfortable to make a bet on this game, because there are just so many other factors that are going into this thing. So, we have seen this time and time again. One guy tests positive for COVID, day later, another guy, day later, another guy. It's just, there's exposures and all the different stuff. So just be sure that you're monitoring all that information.